Don't be all day on there.
You got the wrong guy.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Unless I'm not talking to Frank Castle.
You know, let's not waste time. You're Frank Castle, right?
Frank Castle, the dead man?
Makes two of us now.
You're more right than you know. You are not the only ghost in this town, Frank. Hey, did you ever get that disc?
That I left for you at your house?
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
Did you watch it?
Micro. What is that? Is it some sort of name?
Sure, that'll do for now.
You got something you want to discuss with me? Would you come on down here, huh? Buy a cup of coffee and talk about it.
You know, I don't think that would end so well.
You need to understand first. You need to really know why you can't kill me. Then we can meet.
Delicious.
Welcome to Panels to Pixels. Tonight's episode will be number 2. So tonight's episode will be about The Punisher Episode 2 from Netflix. My guest host tonight will be Paik Allen.
Hey!
Hello, Paik.
How are you?
I am doing well.
Awesome.
So, I'm just going to ask you to give a brief description of the episode, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, like you said, this is episode 2, Two Dead Men. And I guess the overall overlying theme of this episode and kind of the main story, what happens, this is where Frank kind of meets Micro. They have their first encounters and kind of play a little cat and mouse game with each other throughout the episode to figure out who each other are. And then on the other side of the episode, we have Madani going after, not really going after, but trying to get into contact with Billy Russo and then figure out what is going on from her side at the same time. And those are kind of the two main stories. So, yeah, sums it up pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, it was a really good episode.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you made me rewatch this one. I forgot how good this one is.
I think it's very important. I think a lot of people should rewatch it. All right, so basically, we're going to have a top 5, everyone. We did this before last week, or last episode, with Evelina Orshino. We're going to do the same with Paik. So our top 5 comes in. So, Paik, what's your number 5?
All right, my number 5 is pretty simple, but I picked the return of Karen Page and Ellison, the editor. I thought it was just kind of cool. I love it. It shows that how these shows are connected to the rest of the Marvel Netflix universe. I mean, we know Karen Page would come back because she has sort of a relationship with Frank Castle, but just even to see Ellison, the same editor from Daredevil that worked with Karen, coming back and reprising his role as that editor that she talks to there at the paper, just to kind of get that universe built a little bit more. I like that.
Yeah, I was happy to see Karen Page come out again. That's a character that's definitely prevalent in the Daredevil series, as well as with Punisher. But for the fact that, he was introduced in Daredevil, so to me that was awesome. I can never get enough of that actress, too. She's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember her from True Blood when she first started, and that was awesome. I thought of her, the quirky, tall, skinny redhead with the pretty face, and oh my God, we all love her. But yeah, I agree. That's definitely awesome. My number 5 was Frank reflecting on his family.
Right.
His interactions with his kids on the Liberty Ferry going to Statue of Liberty. I only did that maybe once in my life, and it was awesome. And the fact that it's amazing. It's like to see those sights and everything else. Liberty Island is awesome to see.
Yeah, I've done it. I've done it once as well. You say you live in New York, though, don't you?
Yeah, I lived
done
there
it
for the
once.
first 27 years of my life, and I maybe did that twice in my
Mhm.
lifetime. And going up to the statue itself and everything is awesome.
Yeah.
But
from everybody that I know that lives in New York, that's kind of tends to be how it is. I've noticed is the people that live there don't do any of the touristy things ever for the most part.
I always try to make it an effort to actually do that. The only thing I didn't do was the World Trade Center, unfortunately, back in the day. I did the Empire State Building, and you do the MoMA and Museum of Natural History and all those good things.
It's great stuff.
But so sad that World Trade. But regardless, the episode shows him on the boat with his kids and how his interactions and his love of his children. And then on top of that, how he disciplines his son because the son makes a quirky comment. And that quirky comment about the war and what Dad does, it kind of symbolizes what's going on around today. But honestly, it's like, to me, it showed an insight of who he was and where he came from and what he was doing when he was in the Army. Or was it Special Ops? I forget. I don't know if it was Marine, Special Ops, or Army. I can't recall, but
whatever team he was on when the stuff that causes the issues in this series.
Exactly.
That time, that was like a secret, not even on the books kind of thing. But yeah,
it's like it's all the remembrances of his family and everything that happened. So it's like he's reflecting on the good times, some of the bad times, and there was one dream sequence that came into fruition that shows exactly what he was going through after the events of Daredevil, after his attacks on everybody that had destroyed his life and his family, and he wakes up. Or it's in a dream sequence where his wife comes into the room, kisses him, but he sees himself come from behind and shoot her in the head. Now that's very extreme, but also very prevalent because he feels like he's killed his family based upon what he's done in life.
Yeah.
So to me, that was a very important scene to show because it's showing a man agonizing over everything. Mostly it's PTSD, but plus everything that he's done after or what had happened to his family and how he feels like, did I create this? So that, it's his way of like moving away. So, that was my number 5 because it actually shows the real human in him. That we all feel he's not just somebody out there shooting and killing for no reason. He's out there for the right reasons, just like he did for, his friend who he worked with in construction that was wrapped up in that whole thing in the first episode. So he's trying to do the right thing, but the only right thing he knows how to do is violence. And to make things right in his mind is to stop these guys because they were doing the wrong thing and getting a good kid involved. So he's trying to prevent anybody else from making any bad mistakes. So that was my number 5.
I like that. All right. My number 4 is what I wrote down was Revenge on the Dirty Wolf. But no, this was as Carson Wolf and his story throughout the episode, where at the beginning and after episode 1, you kind of get these thoughts that, okay, maybe he's a little dirty, maybe there's something going on in the background. It starts with, in episode 1 where he's blocking Madani from going after and pursuing her investigation on what happened in Afghanistan and all of that stuff. And so you wonder, well, why is he so adamant about this? I guess maybe he's involved. It could be possible. And then you find out that, okay, now he had the micro stuff covered up, so maybe he really is involved for sure. And then it really nails it, and you find out for sure when Frank is interrogating, and then they're kind of towards the end of the episode where he spills the beans completely once he thinks he has the upper hand on Frank, giving his, classic villain dialogue that, ooh, now that I have you trapped, I'm going to go ahead and tell you everything about all of my plans. But it wasn't cheesy. It was good the way they did it. But that's when Frank really finds out, and whenever he tells him, like, yep, like, we ordered your family to be killed, but also it was because of you, but we figured, you know, if we kill enough people that you dying, you know, covered in all these other bodies and all these other casualties, that nobody's really going to look into why we killed you, because it was just a tragedy, it was a massacre, and nothing could have been done about it. And you can see how pissed off Frank is while he's telling him all of this, which he
was ready to kill him.
Which is why it was so satisfying when you finally see him get that revenge, which I thought was kind of hilarious how the tables turn back and forth, but it was cool at the same time, is because he shoots him in the leg one time while interrogating him, and I you know, to show him that, okay, this gun is loaded. And I wonder if he purposely was thinking that Wolf was going to get the gun from him, or if it was just like a precaution measure. I don't know. But having just that one bullet in it to where he shoots Wolf, and then when Wolf gets the gun on him, gives his speech, and then click, and nothing happens, where he gives that great line. It was just like, you know, gun's empty, asshole, kind of thing. And I love that. Had just the one bullet, and it's cool.
Yeah, that led to my number 2. But, yeah, I do agree. That was a definitely intense scene, but it shows Frank's ability to interrogate and not take any crap from anybody. And on top of that, getting the information that he needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, my number 4 was finding Karen and asking her for help just after he visited Kurt, and asking who else knows about me, because Micro, from that introduction, was trying to get at Frank and saying, hey, I know who you are, and this and that, Mr. Hipster and the diner, and yeah, it was really interesting. To me, I really enjoyed that whole interaction in the diner, but the thing is my number 4 was from Karen's point of view. It's like bringing back somebody from Daredevil into this universe, to this series. You know, honestly, we've seen that before with Luke Cage, and the nurse and everything else. So, you know, to me, it's like bring everything all together within it. So whether or not, you know, the Punisher becomes a Defender is another story, and the next Defender series, but that'd be interesting. But the fact that he actually puts trust into Karen to investigate about Micro, get that information about him, find out who Dave is, and you know, Lieberman, you know, comes up on her radar. She gets the information, finds out where his you know, his wife is, the kids, and then Frank investigates. And to me, that was really good, and it shows that he actually does care for Karen. Yeah. He actually gives Karen a you know, a flower to put out. Now she goes, oh, you bring flowers to all the women, and he goes, well, yeah, this is pretty much for a signal. So, yeah, it was
a
like,
clever way of doing that. I like that, the flower.
Yeah, so messages. It's like if you see or know something, or if you're in danger, here, put this here. So, you know, to me, honestly, it made sense, but it also shows that the true tenderness, because him embracing Karen and hugging her and showing that he does care for somebody other than himself and what's going on. Yeah. Other than Kurt or that kid that we saw that, you know, was involved in the first episode. It shows that he has a lot of love for people, but he just does not know how to give it. So, but he also needs the help. So he knows that these people are close to him, and he only confides into those people he cares for, and that could help him, which is awesome. So
now, I think what was really cool, though, is it shows a little bit more into Karen in that conversation and throughout the episode when they meet up, is you see that even as good of a relationship that Karen and Frank do have, that it's not that she doesn't trust him, but you can tell she's still a little scared or worried about who is this person, like who is he really capable of going back to being or becoming, where when she has that information on Micro, she even tells him, she's like, now, I want to give you this, but I need to know with whatever information I give to you, this doesn't wind up with somebody being dead, does it? Because, you know, I believe Karen is afraid of. She doesn't want to be, and I don't think she's capable of being who Frank Castle is, and that's probably a good thing. But yeah,
yeah, I think it spawns to the idea of in any comic book that you have somebody around you, even though you're a hero. Some people look at you as being evil, and in this case, you know, the Punisher was always pretty much predicted as like an anti-hero.
Yeah.
In all the comics. In the very beginning, he was a villain, you know, and Amazing Spider-Man 129 that Avellino actually mentioned, and he and I both had at one point. He was looked at as being an enemy or a villain. In this case, he's the anti-hero. He doesn't know he's a hero, but he does all the things that you shouldn't do as a hero to get what he needs to get done. And the same thing could be said about Daredevil too, because he's a vigilante and he's doing all these things. But you know, yeah, it's like he showed his softer side, and he, you know, to me that is awesome. You know, it's like it's showing the real person within. We don't see him with the garb of the Punisher, just like we did in the very beginning of the first episode when he was finalizing everybody who in the cartel or whoever was trying to take out, and he kind of put that away. Yeah. Now he's doing kind of like Daredevil did in the very first season of Daredevil, where all he wore was black or kept himself hidden, put a mask on that you can't see his face. So to me, honestly, that, you know, this is like kind of an evolution of the character in itself too, because we saw him as the evil person in Daredevil, and then he kind of switched. And then in the very beginning of this, you see him where he was, and then he is full bearded and longer hair and different name, and then happens upon all these things that happen to him. And in this episode, it just doesn't show until the very beginning when he's in that diner and he looks at the paper, and it shows about the card game and saying it was like a homicide-suicide situation. So yeah, that was an interesting take on it, and then where it just shifts to him with Micro looking into him and trying to get, you know, pretty much antagonizing him in some way, I think. So that was my feeling on that.
Cool, like that. All right, is it my number 3?
Correct.
All right, cool. My number 3 kind of tags on to one of your earlier ones, which was the family and the family aspect, but mine more specifically, I think, was just like the inspiration or the drive that the characters get from their families. And so you have Frank, who with those flashbacks and memories of his kids and his wife, where it kind of reminds you that this is who Frank Castle is on the very base level, and that's who the Punisher is he started all of this as vengeance for his family and for the people that did him wrong by killing his family. And so I think that's still a big driving factor on why he's doing what he's doing, is it's all about trying to set himself right. And like you said, now that he's kind of gotten into that place where he questions, well, is it my fault? Did I kill my family? In a way that now I've got to set these things right with myself because of everything that has happened. But then on the other side, you have Lieberman, who everything he's doing right now is really because of his family and for his family. He's been pretending to be dead for a year, hiding out in this place, because he knows that if he showed his face, if he came to light, that his family would be in peril, would be in danger. And so he's having to make that sacrifice to where he just has to let his family believe that he's dead in order to keep them safe. And then, yeah, like... He's doing that for them, but now I guess he's reached that point where he's like, something has to be done, to where he's gone to, you know, try to get the aid of Frank Castle, which is a crazy idea. So you know that he's kind of desperate at this point, but this is what he's got to do in order to protect his family and, you know, not have to keep himself hidden and keep worrying about them all of the time.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, this episode had a lot in it.
Mm-hmm.
I have to agree with that. My number 3 was about Frank figuring out who Micro is with Karen's aid. You know, she used her reporting and investigative routines to find out, and found it through an article about somebody who was Micro and got all the information, and then was able to find David's wife and kids and giving that information to Frank, and then Frank's just showing up and implying like he got hit by her car while she was backing out. And then on top of that, it's like him getting more information out of Dave's wife, and then finding out what he did, what happened, and then Michael going crazy, and then being the investigative person that he is with all the cameras and everything in the house, coming out to the house looking with a gun to shoot Frank because he thinks he's going to kill his wife, which he doesn't do. But the thing is that he's trying to be more helpful, trying to be very human about certain things and understanding from the wife's perspective. This guy, they said that to his wife that he's dead, but he's not dead, but he's hiding. But he's also trying to get, Frank to do all these things. So Frank's like trying to be, it's like, wow, he's separating himself from his family because he doesn't want his family hurt, but also, and Frank doesn't have a family because of everything that he's done, and it came up, and, now he's just like, all right, I'm just going to lend a hand because I feel sorry for the woman, and this guy can't even come through and even come see his wife or do anything and say, hey, I'm alive, and put their lives in danger. So now he starts to see a certain side of Micro, but whether or not he wants to help him or do anything is another story.
Yeah, still on the fence, I think, at that point.
Yeah, he winds up fixing the garage door for her because he had a breakdown in the driveway trying to put the car back into the garage. And then it's like, oh my God, those are one of the things he was supposed to fix, and he never did.
That poor woman, that had to have been just like the worst day.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
trying to come home, and I'm already had a fight with my kids, and now I'm running over random people, and my garage isn't working.
Exactly. It's like, we don't ever want that. So what was your number 2?
My number 2 is something a little different from everything else we've talked about, but I really liked the other storyline of Dina Madani, Agent Madani, and her interactions with Billy Russo, especially the way that she kind of snuck into talking to Russo, because I think what I mentioned earlier is Wolf had shut down all of her investigation into what had happened in Afghanistan, and she knew that Russo was involved in some way, whether or not he was specifically involved with what happened with her boyfriend, but at least he was part of this team that Frank was with, and then he was over there at similar times, and so she had to talk to him, but couldn't get through to Wolf, so she kind of took this backdoor way of doing it, which was finding out that Russo had this security company, Anvil, and hiring them with Wolf's permission, without, I guess, him really realizing what she was doing, as the team to train her and her people, so that way she could get into that, do their training, and then she would have an excuse to meet up with Russo and talk with him. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it was really cool in the sense that, she realized, it's like, he realized, like, wow, this is not a date. And kept asking him, it's like, oh, well, so who are you? And then she winds up fessing up and talking a little bit about it, but also inquiring about Frank, because Frank was part of his crew and there, and she learns that at some point. Mm-hmm. But, making it sound like he was his friend or something. So, to me that was really interesting in the sense that she got, it's like deep cuts into what was going on over there and who he was, and who she was trying to get more information about Frank. And I think this kid really, Russo knew. He's like, oh no. It's like, oh, she just wants me for information. I'm not going to get a date. I'm not getting a kiss. But, it's like, it was one of those weird things. So, I enjoyed that scene, too. It's like, it's the one in the bar, and they're just sitting around casually, and next thing you know, everything comes out. It's like, oh, crap. It's like, here we see it.
It was good to see kind of the cleverness that Madani has, that when she puts her mind to something, like, she's going to get there, and I like that I like that a lot.
Yeah. And it's funny, too, because if you look at her and the way she is, she's very driven.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell that from the way she holds herself, the way she talks, and then, and then as you put that little sly talk, and I do believe there was a scene with her and her mother and about drinking. It's like, you do drink too much, and this and that and the other, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, because it's the work and everything else. But the thing is, she's very passionate about what she does.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's what drives her, is the passion of her work and everything else. So the Madani, the Madani character is very, very cool to have around.
Great addition.
Yeah, definitely. Very great addition to the actual series. So, but what was your number 2?
That was my number 2. So
that was
yours.
Your number 2. My number 2, well, that would be Wolf.
Okay.
The encounter with Wolf. You mentioned it before. Definitely shooting him in the leg and this and that, and trying to get. But of course, Frank getting all the information he can, and it was very brutal. It was nice to see C. Thomas Howell actually, fight in an episode. It's like he's an older man now, and the last time we saw him was what was it, Amazing Spider-Man 1? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he played father in that one. To me, that was awesome. It's like, oh wow, he's coming back. He shows a little bit of age, but honestly, he's a great actor. I enjoyed him back in the day as a kid. So, it's nice to see him. And on top of that, he plays a really nasty character, and obviously it was all the information that Frank needed, like you said earlier.
Yeah. I don't think anybody, honestly, even in his age, he fought really well. Like, I don't think anybody could have taken him on other than Frank Castle at this point. Like,
exactly.
While watching that scene, I was just like, man, if I ever tried to break into this guy's house to get anything from him, like, I'd be dead in an instant, and I don't want to mess with that guy. But Frank's not worried.
Wolf had to be in his late 50s, and he's like, oh, it's like, I'm going to flip you over. Oh, I got you. The one thing, it's like the shot to the leg, and, getting all the information. At least he confessed and gave him all the information he needed, as much as Frank didn't want to hear it, but he had to, and he got all the information that he needed. The thing is that, in the end, he goes, well, this just stays with me, and then he snaps his neck. To me, that was like, wow, that was an ender.
Here's what I want to pick your brain on a little bit, so we can dive into it a little bit more.
Sure.
Is because the information he went for was for Micro. I don't think he knew that Wolf was involved with his family's death until that point. Do you?
No, I don't think so at all. It's like I think that Frank just learned it just like you at that point, and it's amazing. It's like he just learned that, and he was like, and he just flipped. He was like, all right, I'm just gonna end this guy after I get all the information I need out of him. Boom.
So do you think that if he wouldn't have found that information out and only went there for info on Micro, would he still have killed Wolf at the end of it?
With the way Wolf was actually fighting back, probably not. I don't know.
Definitely once he found out who he was, once he was unmasked, I think there was really no turning back at that point. But
yeah.
But if everything would have gone, I guess, to Frank's original plan, where if he probably would have stayed masked, interrogated the guy, got what he needed, and got out, he may not have killed him.
I think you're probably correct for the fact, but I put it in this perspective. Now that he had confessed all the information, he knew who Frank was, and Frank got all the truth out of him, saying, your family was expendable, and that's what we needed to do for what we needed to have to do. So that put, like, okay, you're another marker that I had to put on my list. And Frank had a list at one point. If you remember, way back in Daredevil, he was going down the list of everybody that was involved. And he was higher up, and he had no clue. So at this point, it was like, nope, done. You're gone. And so it was kind of justifiable in a sense where it's like he got, I wouldn't say the ultimate revenge for his family, but at least that is another one off the list that he didn't even know about. So he's probably in his mind wondering, who else is out there who else has this information, and who else do I have to kill?
Yeah.
Just to get this off his conscience and his heart, pretty much. It's like, he wants justice for his family. Which is pretty much almost similar to back in the day, if you were a heavy metal enthusiast like I am, Megadeth doing the song Holy Wars, and it pretty much lays out exactly. It's like Frank Castle's idea, and that whole story arc in that song is about, him taking out those cartels and for what they did to his family and everything else, and then enslaving him to do what they needed him for. So, and in this case, he was trying to get back, and it's like, no, I'm gonna do this. So, to me, this show is actually very cool. Honestly, it's full of violence, and if you binge watch it in one day, it's a full day of depression, as some people would say. But to me, I enjoyed it very well. A lot of my friends are interested and love it. You included, and I get to talk at work. It's like, it's like, hey, did you watch it? I was like, yeah. Oh my God, that scene. It's like, yes, I know. So, yeah.
Very good. As dark as it is, I binged it all in 2 days because I had to. It's because it is that just captivating. I love that.
Yeah, I think I watched it in one day. It's like I had the lovely benefit of having like 3 days off, and I was like, no, this is my day where I just stay around and stink and watch this from morning till night.
Yep.
And I did. And then I watched a few episodes in between, like the next day, to say, oh, I want to watch that again. And it's like, oh, I'm depressed again. Well, I'm not watching this. It's like, but honestly, it's like, it's a good story.
Oh,
and
it's great.
That's the whole point. It's like, it's one of those things like we all wish in the deep, dark chasms of our minds wanting to do on our own, but we can't. But, due to being the right way of who we are, and we're not superheroes or kind of those kind of comic booky things.
Yeah.
We live in a realistic life. So, but the thing is that it's our way of watching it and going, wow. And there are sometimes those things in this world. So, but at least we have this to watch and make us feel better about who we are and feel better about there are sometimes those people out there that are in some ways like him. So, to me, it's like if there were those people out there against these people that are doing heinous things against us, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we'll move on to our number one.
Okay. Well, my number one, and I think you touched on it just a little bit, but kind of in a general sense, it's just all of the major confrontations or dialogues or cat and mouse game between Micro and Frank throughout the episode, but specifically kind of beginning and end, which I think is cool that this episode was kind of perfect and bookended by, at the beginning you have Micro kind of tricking Frank in order to get closer to him, which I thought was awesome, the way that he did it with the flashlight and the mirror, trying to get Frank to go over to the other building, even though he was on top of the same diner the whole time. Very clever. And then bookending it with the ending where you have Frank kind of tricking Micro with having him drive around all these places. Okay, another 20 minutes, another 20 minutes, another 20 minutes. Or you could see that, Micro's getting really frustrated with it, but then just to get to the end and Curtis come out and be like, Frank decided he doesn't want to play your games anymore.
Yep.
And, he's not feeling it. Then you can tell just Micro's so mad, and then he doesn't stop to really think, and so he gets in the car and drives back to the hideout where Frank had taken that time to crawl into the trunk so he could get back to his hideout, which is just awesome.
Yeah, the old switcheroo. But the thing is, that leads to my number one too, which is like Frank figuring out Dave and what he's doing. Lieberman is doing all his things in this episode, and sending Kurt out at the graveyard, telling him no, Frank doesn't want this, and then hiding in his trunk. It's like, wow. I was like, okay, and then next episode we get the wonderful feeling of Frank attacking Dave. But to me, honestly, it's like it ended at the right point. It left at a cliffhanger. It's like, what? All right, he's not gonna. And then next, you see, it's like, oh, he's in the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me, it's like it rounded off like a good cliffhanger to the next episode.
Yeah.
So eventually we'll get that.
I love all the focus on those two characters, and it's something I didn't notice, I think, the first time around, really, because I was just binging through it and being like, oh, next, not taking the time to really digest and break things down as much. So now doing that is the episode title itself really didn't click with me. But yeah, The Two Dead Men is obviously it's a reference to like the poem or verse that Frank is talking, with his kids right at the very beginning. But then on a deeper level is that kind of game between Micro and Frank. These are the two dead men. These are the two ghosts, the guys that have been dead and killed and are now having to kind of unite and work with each other. And so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it's man. When I saw the Two Dead Men thing, the first thing I thought was, okay, are they talking about Frank and are they talking about Dave?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be those two because they are two dead men, and technically, because Frank Castle is technically dead.
Yep.
And so is Dave. Dave is not there. So, I think technically the episode is about those two and who they are and what's going on. So I agree. But, which leads us to who we have next week. So, episode 3, Kandahar. And I'm trying to figure out who do we have next week. That would be Steve Brown.
Steve!
Big old Steve. Steve Brown's going to be with me next episode, and we're going to be talking about Punisher episode 3, Kandahar. So, then we move on.
All right.
So, this is comic news. And the first episode I actually talked about comic news. Comic news is basically anything that's going around within the movie universe of all comics or TV shows. Comic books in general that are coming out that are like grasping our thoughts and our hopes and dreams of what we could watch and read. So, do you have anything for us, Paige?
Yeah, I do. I've got a couple of news things, not with comic books in specific. Been reading some, but not really anything connected. Okay. But I think I found some interesting news on just the Marvel Netflix series as a whole, outside of Punisher, all the rest of them. And so the first one that I found was kind of cool is that Disney may not be able to move those Marvel series from Netflix. This is from CBR.com. They were saying, a lot of confusion and concern has been stirred up among Marvel fans when Disney announced that they're going to move forward with their own direct-to-consumer streaming platform, which is designed to compete with services like Netflix. And there's not a name for it right now, but it comes out in 2019 is when they're planning on launching this. And they would house content from all of their various IPs like Star Wars, Pixar, and, which those currently have film streaming on Netflix. But people are wondering, well, what's going to happen to your Netflix original Marvel shows, your Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Defenders, and now Punisher. And Netflix apparently maintains the rights to keep the series already on the service and potentially continue to produce more starring those characters. The Hollywood Reporter said that Disney has created some really killer brands, and it's not that exclusive. Netflix has the Defenders.
Okay.
So it looks like everything in this universe should stay on Netflix, and we don't have to worry about losing that to the Disney competition.
Hopefully. I'm hoping that would be the case. Yeah. I'm not too thrilled with the idea of having to spend another $8 a month for another online app. I think the place is kind of inundated with all this.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's cool that they're doing it but it's going to take a lot for me to actually want to buy into it. And I don't know, does Disney have what it takes to keep me interested in buying? Because the thing with Netflix or Hulu, which I have both of those, is the variety. You get all kinds of different stories from different, companies and different creators and different things. And you have, if everything on this one service falls under a Disney umbrella, then it all has to be relatively family friendly. And so I don't know. I mean, they own things like Star Wars and Marvel, and which are two of my favorite things. And so there's a possibility that they can bring me in, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I don't know. It's like I love Star Wars, I love Marvel, I love Pixar, all that good stuff that everybody's doing. The thing is to spend that extra money per month. I don't know. It's like they would have to do a ratings thing for specific shows if that were the case.
Yeah.
Because between Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, even the Defenders, because all the cursing and everything that's going on in these episodes and these shows, it's ridiculous. It's amazing. It's like, wow. It's like, this is stuff that we wanted as kids, but we weren't allowed to watch or read.
Sometimes you forget you're watching a Marvel property, and it's
exactly. It's like, it's like when they talk about rape or just killing in Jessica Jones, you're like, and on top of that was more of a mental thing, which eventually I want to get into with Jessica Jones, but that's at a later time. Probably just before the actual Jessica Jones season 2 comes out.
Which saying that ties into another thing that I picked up, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Something I noticed was just kind of the Marvel lineup. If somebody hasn't seen it or is interested in it without doing a digging yourself, then I can kind of tell you as far as what they have on the pipeline is Jessica Jones season 2 is confirmed for early 2018, and hopefully not too spoiler or anything for anybody who's watched that, but it has been confirmed David Tennant will be returning in some form for season 2. Luke Cage season 2 has been confirmed for spring or summer of 2018, and they've announced the actors and character names of kind of the villains for season 2, which is interesting. We have Mustafa Shakir. Okay, you don't want me to do that?
No, we don't want any spoilers.
Okay.
I don't want any spoilers at this point because
okay, cool.
Those could change, honestly.
Some people are really, okay with I like a little hint, and then some people don't want any at all. So that's cool.
I let those people figure that out on their own and go on with that.
Cool. So you can at least give the confirmations of what's coming.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So Daredevil season 3 is confirmed for fall 2018.
Okay.
So it looks like 2018 next year will be Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Daredevil 223. Wow. And then Iron Fist season 2 has been confirmed, but it's 2019, but they don't have a specific time frame yet. And then as far as Punisher 2 or Defenders 2, neither of those have been given any kind of second season renewal, but it's possible, I guess.
I could ask John Bernthal this weekend at Walker Stalker Convention, so.
All right, that would be cool. I don't know how much he could say, but
I don't know. I could poke his brain a little bit.
Catch him backstage and be like, just between you and me.
No. When I do my photo op, I'll ask him and nudge him.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, you want to come on a podcast?
Yes. Good job.
Yeah, do number 13. So, but it's like we're all looking forward to it. It's like no matter what, I'm a Marvel fan. It's like as a kid, I grew up on Marvel. I always, my favorite, superhero was always Spider-Man, but then after that would be the Hulk, Fantastic Four, X-Men, and everything else.
Nice.
So, but I'm just glad that hopefully eventually WB moves everything over to Marvel. But we won't know that.
Looks like it's still, I thought it was dead, but recently it's come out that I guess there are still kind of talks going on, so
yeah. Well,
we'll
they noticed what's going on with Sony and with Spider-Man, that Marvel's actually done something, and Kevin Feige is a guru of getting these superhero shows out the way it should be.
Yeah.
And it all started really with Iron Man, and to think they took a character like Iron Man and moved on and did this, whereas DC is still struggling. And I've yet to see Justice League. I really want to see it, as well as Thor Ragnarok, but my feeling is that DC has a great TV lineup with Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, and Supergirl. Whereas Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Inhumans have been suffering.
Yes, I agree.
And honestly, I was hoping for the more with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. When they showed the Absorbing Man, I was so excited. I was like a kid in the candy store when I was like, oh my God, he's real. And then it kind of moved on to the Inhumans standpoint, and I'm like, oh. It's like there's only so much. But, Marvel has definitely carved a notch in movie cinematic.
Oh, absolutely.
History when it comes to actual comic book movies. TV-wise, not so much, but DC has made that, and I think they've done that since Smallville. When they hit Smallville, and even with Lois and Clark, and there was a couple other earlier shows, even Superboy back in the day, they did well. But when it comes to movies, the last really good movie, and my honest opinion with DC, was always Batman, but that was the Tim Burton Batman. And then everything else I liked. I can't say I hated. A lot of people I know out there go convictively, I hate this.
Oh, yeah.
To me, I'm just like a kid in a candy store. It's like, oh, you're giving me Suicide Squad. Oh,
it's like, it's on TV. It's like on the big screen. It's a movie. I'm going to take it.
Yeah, I don't care if it's Batman or Robin. I'll watch it. Oh, Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Cool. Awesome.
I always try to go in with a very open mind, and so that's when people ask me about Justice League. I'm like, well, it was really good for a DC movie. Take it what it is.
Yeah,
like, if you try to compare the two, you're going to be disappointed. But, like, if you just go in and just enjoy it for what it is, like, it's not horrible. Like, it's not a painful experience.
Well, my friend Diana will, her thoughts is like, I'm done with that. DC is terrible. Wonder Woman was perfect, though, in my idea.
I liked it a lot.
It was really good. I really liked it. It gave every girl everything that they wanted in a female superhero, honestly. And every guy was just like, wow, she's hot. So, and on top of that, she did a great job, honestly, as Wonder Woman. I can't really, and it's like, seeing the Princess Bride in there kicking ass as an Amazonian. Come on, man. Yeah, it's like, wow, damn, you're hotter. But, honestly, it's, to me, I loved it, when I saw that twice, but, I saw that at the drive-in, so it's wonderful. You get to go see it, and it's like, oh, there's another movie. I'm like, okay. And then I see one movie, and it's like, oh, I'll stay for this. So, to me, it was like two movies for one. I'll do that at a drive-in. And to me, honestly, it was great. But, the ending, obviously, it was the only thing it's like, with DC with their evil characters, Yeah, to me, I was not too happy with who played the antagonist in that one and how it was portrayed. But
that's one of DC's kind of shortcomings, I think. Because that's my biggest gripe I'll give with Justice League, without any kind of spoiler to it, is the way they did the heroes and the team-up was fun, but the villain is where they really fell short.
Yeah.
Well,
to me, honestly, the best DC movie that came out over the years, I would say within the past 15 years, would be Watchmen. Okay. And I was a big fan of Watchmen. I bought it when it came out. I have like 3 issues of the first issue and 2 issues of the second, and all the rest in singles, and I still boarded and bagged. Nice. But when that came out, and I didn't see it in the theater, I got it on Blu-ray, and I was like, oh, I'm going to sit here and watch. I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I go see this when it came out? And I was too busy working, obviously. I think it came out during the holidays or something. But regardless, to me, I was like, this is perfect. Jeffrey D. Morgan as a comedian, and You know, you have a lot of great actors playing the other characters, and Billy Crudup as Dr. Manhattan. I was just like, oh, Billy Crudup, really? The Rocketeer? And then I was like, oh, okay. It's like, damn, they made him look a lot like in the comic. And then Rorschach, who's my favorite character out of all the series. And if anybody is out there that has not picked up Doomsday Clock, please do so. They sold out apparently at my local comic shop, and I recommend reading it. It's bringing the Watchmen into the DC universe for the superheroes.
I will definitely check that out.
Yeah, there is no cursing in this one at this point, but I'm hoping they actually get a little bit adult about it. And then whereas Superman, I'm not asking for Superman or Batman or anybody else to curse, but you know, when you got somebody who comes out and spoilers in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, at the end of Watchmen, the original series, if you've not picked up the trade paperback, sorry you're hearing this, Rorschach dies. So obviously in the first episode, there's somebody who's Rorschach. So it's like, oh my God. And they're bringing him a character back? How are they going to do this? Is this his son? Is this somebody who's a fan of his and wants to become him and stuff like that? So, you know, you got to pick up that first issue and figure it out. I got the lenticular cover version, and I got another pretty much variant of it with black and white covering with Superman on the front, which is amazing.
Cool.
But it's something that, you know, I mentioned the last episode of Panels to Pixels, but to me, honestly, it's, yeah, you can't go wrong with comics these days. They're pulling out stops in certain areas, you know, between, you know, well, last year they had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Batman, and, you know, to me, that I thought that was kind of cool.
You see that they're doing a part 2 of that.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I know somebody that loves it, and he enjoys his Turtles. I grew up on Turtles when they were in the comics and when they first came out, and I actually have the first, 20 issues, original copies, and they're hard to come by, and I don't really want to part with them, even though they're costly. They're all first print issues and stuff, but yeah, you gotta love comics.
Yeah.
So, well, with that, I'm gonna go on to news about the new Infinity War trailer.
Okay, cool.
So basically, it showed Spider-Man with the new costume that Tony Stark had offered him in Homecoming. At the end of Homecoming, it's a metal suit.
It's very reminiscent of, like, in the comics, like the Civil War Iron Spider.
Exactly. And the thing is it's not the Iron Spider in the sense where that one is kind of like yellowish and reddish.
Yeah.
And then had all the metal.
Had the little, like, spider legs to it.
Mandibles and all that stuff that they had on it. And, you know, it didn't have all that. But the thing is I think that was meant really specifically for this war. I'm pretty sure we won't see it anytime soon, but I'm sure Tony gives that in another movie or something to Peter, and it's more of like an Iron Man suit for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That enhances his stuff. Now, like, the cool part about that whole Infinity War trailer that we got was the spider sense, and we never got to see that with this new Spider-Man. So the hair's raising up on his arms and everything. To me, that was like, finally.
Yeah, so you know that, okay, he's got it. Yeah.
He does have it. So they basically told us that before Homecoming he doesn't have any spider sense. Now it's like, oh, he's got him.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I was happy about that. So that was my part for comic book news. I have another one, but if you have one, Paik, I'll let you go on that.
I think that's it for news.
Oh, okay. Well, today is Wednesday. Today is December 6th, and it's a Wednesday, and I picked up my new Walking Dead issue.
I did too. Haven't read it yet, but I have it.
Yeah, I know. Mr. Blog told me to read it, and I haven't had a chance. And thank you, Mr. Blog and Grace, which
we love
I
you.
also. Yeah, we love you guys. I'm gonna have to add to this comic news because I do listen to Under the Comic Covers, and I do love Gracie Lou, and I do love Mr. Blog.
Mm-hmm.
I do not read all the issues that they go to. I usually read Injustice, Outcast, Walking Dead, and he got me into Paper Girls. Been listening to them for a long time now, and when I can't even get the comic or can't afford it that way, you know, we all get that way, I listen to them. And it's awesome to listen to them because Mr. Blog and Grace are awesome to listen to. So my recommendation is listen to On the Comic Covers, listen to them, and if you are an Image Comics fan, that's usually what they read about. So do that. We got to thank, you know, like I said, Mr. Blog and Gracie from Under Comic Covers. Got to also thank Jason Gabassi and Karen Morvay from Walking Dead Cast. Without this wouldn't be an inspiration to do. As well as Rima Joe and Sean Henniger from Strange Indeed. So that's about Stranger Things. So and
there's so many good podcasts about all of the greatest things.
and I have to also add in Mr. Brian Malash, who's part of Walking Dead Talk Through, and right now he's in a series of floating hosts, and I was one of the hosts, co-hosts at one point. So thank you, Brian, for getting my feet wet into this. So with that, we'll continue on. Like I said, new Walking Dead issue. And those of you out there who love to promote or help out your podcasters, do so. And I'm not asking for myself. I'm asking for Jason and Karen. Jason and Karen belong to a Patreon for the Walking Dead cast. So it's through Podcastica is the podcast group that sends out the Walking Dead cast. And Jason and Karen have a cool group, and Paik and I are part of it.
Yeah.
As well as Avelino, who was on last episode. And so is Steve Brown on the next. We do nothing. I'm not trying to endorse them. I'm just saying, open your mind, open up your wallet in some way, listen to them, give it a listen. If you love it, do so. Keep them going. Jason's an awesome guy. If you're a Walking Dead fan, he does a lot of the panels on Walker Stalkers. Yeah. So he's awesome to talk to and hang out with. A lot of the Patreon is more of like a bunch of friends, family that you cannot live without, because we have a Facebook page exclusively to that. And for $10 or more, you could be part of that. And you could take part of talking to us. We all have our own little groups. We all have little talks. It's amazing. We all just have fun, and that's how I got Paik, I got Steve, I got Avelino to come on to talk. You know, it's like we're all just helping each other out, and they want to have fun too. So I usually open that door, and I plan on keeping that door open for anybody who's interested in comic books, comic book movies, comic book TV shows. Come on. Hey, I'll be willing to talk about the old Nick Hammond Spider-Man series from 1977. That's how much I love comics. I loved that when I was a kid. I grew up on the Hulk. I grew up on Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. How many of you watch those and say, I want to talk about that? That's what I wanted to do. That's what I'm doing now. So, Paik, do you have anything that you like to talk about in comics that you're not so ashamed of? Because, honestly, I just talked about Nick Hammond. And
so. I don't know. Well, this may be, let's see, with my comic books, I'm actually newer to comic books. So I think what really got into it was, like, a lot of the help of, like The Walking Dead was a big starting point. I've read the Walking Dead comics. They were the only comic book that I read for years. I started in like the 3rd season of the show. And so like after like 3 seasons, I was like, okay, I really like this, but I keep hearing about all of this like comic book like references. I need to see what that's about. And I just went and bought like every volume that existed up until that, which I think was right about issue 100, which is a pretty pivotal issue. And so, of course, I got to that was like the last one, and then I was like, well, now I have to keep reading every week.
Did you get into Hellboy?
I haven't yet. No, I need to. And
Did you watch the old movies?
I have, yes.
All right. My recommendation, I actually got into Hellboy when it came out, and I think I got the first 5 issues. I don't know if I still have them. That's the question, because after moving 17 years ago, where I'm at now, a lot of things got lost and got thrown away and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I lost like 2 long boxes,
Oh,
and those were involved. But I used to get all that stuff, and that was they started Hellboy at I think they wasn't Dark Horse, but it was called something else, and it was part of Marvel. And they had that. They had Web of Spider-Man. Everything was coming around that time, and that was one of offshoot kind of comics at the time. To me, I wasn't really into it at the time, but I kept on to them. I held on to them. Obviously, I can't find them anymore. But I really got to enjoy the first movie. I really, really loved the second movie, and I'm so sad that they never came out with a third movie.
Yeah.
Because I really loved the actor that played him, and honestly, he was great. And now they got the guy who plays in Strange Things, who plays Hopper, to play Hellboy. And you can't go wrong with that.
That's exciting. Like
he actually worked out for it too, which is like, I forget the name of the actor, but he actually,
David Harbour.
Go on, David Harbour.
Yeah, don't get Rima started.
Rima will ream me out about that. She loves David Harbour, but he did work out, and apparently he worked out a bit. I don't think so much, but I was told there was a lot of makeup involved. But even still, he's a very tall, strong man, you could tell, and he worked out for that. To me, honestly, I can't wait for that to come out, because it looks a little bit more rock and roll for Hellboy in this one. Instead of a little ponytail, he's got long hair. To me, it's like, I was like, rock on, this is awesome.
Yeah, to add to what I was saying earlier, I read more than Walking Dead now, just so people don't have to, but really right now what I stick to is a lot of DC comic books. I got into those just last year, I think, when they dropped Rebirth, because I finally decided, I was like, okay, everything's starting over at number 1, this is the time to jump on. And
you didn't do the new 52?
I didn't. That was before my interest had peaked enough.
Oh, okay.
And so with Rebirth restarting everything last year, I was like, this is the time to... So I got the Rebirth comic. I was like, this is where I'm going to see if this is kind of going to be my thing, and definitely was. And so I've got quite a few little series that I'm keeping up with now, and I'm enjoying it a lot. As far as the DC side of things go, I prefer Marvel when it comes to the movies and a lot of live action, but the comic books, DC has been killing it.
Oh, definitely. There was a new Batman last year at one point where it was a specific set. I have it, and it was amazing.
Yeah, right now the big DC event going on is they got their metal event going on. It's kind of wrapping up, but I think they still got a couple of months left to go, and they've been tying everything into it. And it's like the first time that I had read some of these just because I had to get every issue that was part of this crossover event, because it's been so good.
Yeah, it's a good time in comics at this point, too. I'm hoping that Marvel comes back with the Fantastic Four, because they had to shelve that for a while due to Warner Brothers.
Okay.
And that had to do with the last movie that came out, which was, I don't know, Josh Trank. I liked Josh Trank's first movie. And then when I heard that he was doing, I was like, and then Kevin Smith started giving up, like, oh, he's great, and this and that, and then the movie came out and then bottomed out. Yeah. I can understand where he was coming from with the movie, but the thing is that it was entertaining, but the thing was, it wasn't my Fantastic Four. Now, not to say that with Spider-Man Homecoming, I'm not trying to say anything within race, but MJ, I thought that was a great call. How they made Mary Jane. It's like, just call me MJ. I'm like, wow. that is awesome. So, and then on top of that, the love interest not being your typical, it's like I would love to see Miles Morales come out in some way.
I think he will at some point.
So.
They made a reference to him.
Yeah, definitely with his uncle.
Yeah,
and
I think he actually I think Donald Glover's character actually refers to him by the name Miles in a deleted scene. I have it on Blu-ray. I need to go back and see if they have that on there, but I think I heard that somewhere.
I have it as well, and I have to go back myself and look. I really want to see more diversity, and Marvel over the past 30 years have become more diversified. Now, mind you, in the 70s we had Luke Cage and all that, and it was kind of like, it's like all the cliches and everything else. So the best thing that Marvel did, though, with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was the other Ghost Rider. They didn't use Johnny Blaze. They used the third Ghost Rider with the car. And to me, honestly, that I like that one. Now, I never grew up on that one, but I always grew up with Johnny Blaze. So I'm hoping to see, more and more of this. I want to see more diversity. If they could do that, and DC's doing that too. If you look at it, it's like Barry Allen's not a white kid; he's Hispanic. And to me, I thought that was a bold step, and that was awesome. And then changing Aquaman from his like little orange tights to Khal Drogo.
I like what Momoa did, though. I like it a lot.
I have not watched it, but I like everything that I see, and I like the idea of the surfer dude with the long hair, and definitely with the Samoan style tattoos that he's got on too. And it's like, to me that's like, like as long as they give me Black Manta and Aquaman movie, I'll be happy.
I think that has been confirmed, so
yeah,
that would be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. Gotta love comics, and that's what we're all about, and we're all about talking about it. If anybody wants to comment, there is a Facebook page called Panels to Pixels, so leave your comment onto Panels to Pixels in Facebook. You could also reach us at Panels to Pixels, PANELSTOPIXELS 1, the number 1, at gmail.com. So you can write us to that, and then we'll read on it. We'll read your comments from your Facebook comments, and we'll read your email. So if you have any things that you want to be done in a future episode, please let us know. We have a few ideas. I have a few people that have interest in doing specific movies. I'm sure other podcasters have done them. Eventually I'm going to be doing it with my friend Diana Frank. We're going to be doing Strange Thing. Not Doctor Strange, sorry. No Strange Things. We don't do strange things here. Only strange things that we talk about, which is, comic books. So we'll be talking about Doctor Strange. That will be a sole podcast based upon that. Eventually, when Punisher wraps up, we'll have that podcast. And then if you guys have any information that you want to pass off, you're more than welcome to put that on the email and the comments page. Or if you want to talk about an older show, I'd be more than willing to talk about Lois and Clark as a whole, or the original Spider-Man from the 77, or even the Captain America that came out in the 70s and the 80s. There are a ton of different movies that are out there. There was an actual Doctor Strange movie that was on broadcast TV, and yes, I have watched it, as well as the Roger Corman Fantastic Four. So there are other things that we could talk about, and if you want to hear about them or join in, contact us, let us know. I'm very open to a lot of things. I'm not saying this is an open podcast to anybody. I'm just stating that this is something that I like to talk about, and if there are my friends that are out there who are in podcasting that want to join in and talk about it, more than welcome to come in. I like a lot of things that are out there that are pop culture. In the off season, maybe in the summer, when there's not so much. we'll talk about something else that is pop culture.
Yeah,
But
a lot of
in
good
the
TV
meantime,
right
we'll
now.
talk about more Marvel, more DC, more Image, any of the comic books that are out there. The only thing I will not do is all the adult comics. Sorry, I will not go there. I'm talking about superheroes. We're talking about everything we grew up on. We're all kids at heart. We want to be kids. So with that, I'm going to say thank you, Paik.
Thank you for having me on here. I really appreciated it. I had a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time to do this. You know, it's always a good time to talk about comic books and comic book movies and TV shows. So, and I'm going to thank you all for listening.